Hey, I'm Dan Thomas, and welcome to my channel for the Newbie Woodworker, or anyone really. I'm working on a project right now where I need to put a T-track in a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, and there really isn't enough room for screws. So I used 5-minute epoxy instead. If you've never used epoxy before, stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you how I applied it. I have to make a new one of these because I changed my design a little. So I'm just going to toss this one, but before I do, let's see how strong the epoxy actually is. So I'm using this carriage bolt as the T-track bolt, and I don't know whether you can see it or not, but I've ground off or sanded off the edges here so it'll fit in the T-track. And yes, my hands shake, especially in the morning. It's nothing, it's done this all my life. Okay, so what I've done is I put a couple of blocks of wood so that nothing's resting on the T-track, because the T-track is actually pretty close to the top of this piece of wood, and that wouldn't be a good test. So I want this piece away from the top of the T-track. So let's see. I know I have a socket around here somewhere. It's just here. Here, socket. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I've got a socket. This is a 1/4 inch bolt, and I've got a socket. And I'm going to try and clamp this down and see how tight I can get without pulling the track up. Now this is way tighter than I would ever tighten it already. So how are we doing here? I don't know whether you can see, but the T-track, it's not moving at all. I'm pretty sure I'm going to break this wood. Look at the look at the fender washer. Okay, well, there's your answer. That epoxy holds as well as you can possibly want. It's pretty obvious the wood's going to break before the epoxy does. Look at that washer. Okay, for kicks and giggles, let's put it right at the end. Because if it's ever going to come up, that's where it'll come off. How are we doing so far? Hasn't moved at all. Okay, something just broke. Okay, it finally came off. But I got to tell you, first of all, it's right on the end, so that's the weakest point. And I put way more force than you would ever put on something like this. I mean, it was breaking the wood here. So there's our conclusion. Holding in T-tracks with epoxy glue works great. I used Gorilla 5-minute epoxy to glue down the T-track. It comes with 2 side-by-side tubes of stuff, and you just squeeze it out and mix it together for 20 seconds or so. I mixed it on my Rockler silicone project mat, which I love. Links in the description below. Then you just slop it on. I probably used more glue than I needed to. A little glue squeezed up through the screw holes, so I just wiped it off. I used this dowel and some bricks to put pressure on the T-track. With normal glue, you can just let it dry on the silicone mat and peel it up later, but I'm not so sure about epoxy glue, so I'm cleaning it up now. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you want, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks.